It's been kind of quiet. I would imagine today and definitely tomorrow leading up to 3 o'clock, it's going to get crazy because there are going to be some guys going. Everybody right now is still trying to gauge, are they buyers or sellers? And I think by this time, you know what you're going to be. Now, you may be trying to give it the old Heisman of not wanting to be a seller because you don't want to look like you're non competitive and you're waving the white flag. But the Padres have got an interesting situation here. I don't think they're better than the Dodgers. I don't think they're better than Philadelphia. Again, I'm not sure they're better than the Mets. I'm not sure they're better than the Cubs or the Brewers. Okay, so I don't want to give up any prospects. If I'm giving up anybody, I'm giving up guys on my major league roster, but I got to get something in return. And let's talk about Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease, like I mentioned, you go to ESPN.com right now, click on MLB, and Dylan Cease is a poster boy for the trading deadline. Now, first of all, personally, I like Dylan Cease. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a great teammate, good-hearted guy. Uh, Pitched pretty good last year. Hasn't pitched well this year. You look at his numbers: 3-10 in a 4.79, a 1.34 WHIP. 118 in the third innings. He's given up 111 hits. That's way too many for a guy of his ability. He's given up 67 runs, 63 of them earned. He's walked 47, too many. 153 punch outs in 22 starts. Houston is really clamoring to get Dylan Cease. I think the Yankees are trying to find a way to get Dylan Cease. Boston, maybe the New York Mets, but it sounds like Houston's hot to trot right now. And Houston's got a good farm system. They've got good players at the major league level. They would even be deeper if Jordan Alvarez could ever play, one of the best hitters in baseball. And that would maybe free up another young outfielder if he was able to play, but he's out. I don't know if he's even coming back. But Dylan Cease more than likely Monday night pitched his last game for the San Diego Padres. I would be surprised if he's here after the trading deadline because at the end of the year he's a free agent and you can make him a qualifying offer, but he's going to decline that and go out on the free agent market and you'll get, a fourth round draft pick or some kind of a compensation pick. But here's my take on Dylan Cease. And I don't know why it didn't work out here in San Diego because his overall numbers are not great. I know he threw the no hitter and he was incredible that day. And there were some really nice defensive plays made, but there are in every no hitter. Um, I'm pulling for this guy because I think he's a good guy. I pull for the good guys in this game. Um, and I don't know why it didn't work with him and Ruben Niebla or him and Mike Schild or just the Padre organization. And I know he had his up and downs with the White Sox. He had that one really good year and he came back and had a 4.5 ERA. This guy has, I think, as good a stuff as anybody around. And he may die with that stuff. But if he would trust his stuff a little bit more and not try to strike everybody out, quit trying to miss bats, just pitch, change your philosophy a little bit. And, add and subtract. Everything's hard, hard, hard. And when he gets in trouble, he tries to throw harder, harder, and harder. And it doesn't work that way. You lose command, your ball stays up in the zone, it flattens out, 38 different things happen. But this guy could go somewhere else and he could really be a shot in the arm for another ball club. There's no question about it. But I don't know if he can get back on track with San Diego. He may need a new lease on life, need to be in somebody else's clubhouse. And if that's the case, more power to him. I got no qualms about Dylan Cease wanting to be here in San Diego. I think he loves San Diego. It just hadn't quite worked out. But the guy is going healthy. He wants to pitch, and who knows? He may turn it around. He may be the star of the postseason for another team. But hopefully the Padres are able to get an outfielder or a bat if they do move him. Now, I want to talk about Robert Suarez. His name has been kicked around quite a bit. And I feel like, to a degree, I have to defend Robert Suarez. I don't know Robert Suarez from the man on the moon. But I've always liked him. From the first day that I saw him pitch in spring training to the first night he broke into the big leagues, he was a disaster. Remember over in Arizona, he walked a couple of guys. He threw a wild pitch, and they got him out of the ball game. And I think Craig Stammen, if I'm not mistaken, came in and gave up maybe a grand slam home run on opening night. I think it was Craig, another class act, by the way, working for the organization. But I've always liked Robert Suarez, and I look at his career right now. Fourth season with the Padres. To this point, he has pitched in 182 games. He's 21-11 with a 3.03 ERA and 67 career saves. 184 innings pitched, 128 hits. This season, he's having a great year. I know his ERA is a little bit high for a closer, but hey, in 46 games, 43 and two-thirds, 32 hits, 18 runs, 17 of them earned, only 12 walks, 46 strikeouts, and giving up 2 home runs. I'm a big Robert Suarez fan. Now, the reason they would move him for a couple of reasons. Number one, they could get something in return for him, probably a pretty good return, and you may even want to attach Cronenworth to that. I think they'd love to get rid of Cronenworth's contract. I really do. And by the way, Jake played a heck of a ball game on Tuesday night. But for me, his price tag is just too much. After this year, the Padres, up until 2030, will owe him $60 million. Average player. Okay, I've talked about that. But if you could attach him to one of these trades, you get that off the books. Okay, so we could do something during the winter. I mean, if you had an extra 60 million out there, man, that would be kind of cool. But anyways, Suarez has been a 2-time All-Star. But he's got a player option for each of the next 2 years at only $8 million. And there's no buyout. So, and he would have to, it's a player option. He would have to decide right after the World Series if he wants to come back for each of the next 2 years, because it's simultaneously, you got to decide on 26 and 27. And normally, if he took that, he wouldn't be a walkaway free agent until after the 2028 season. Well, he's going to decline that, and he will become a free agent, and he'll go out to the highest bidder. So if you're worried about that, then you go ahead and trade him. And then Jeremiah Estrada becomes a closer. I think he's better than probably Jason Adam or Adrian Morejon. He could possibly do it. And with the emergence of David Morgan, Morgan could fill in that 7th inning spot a little bit. Morgan's pitched really well. And the Padres have enough. If they gave up Robert and could get something significantly for him, then that would be okay. But he's been a good Padre. He's been a good Padre. And think about this. This guy had pitched in Mexico and pitched in Japan. He'd never been with an affiliated organization in the States until A.J. Preller and his scouts got him out of Japan. And he's 34 years old. That's an amazing get by A.J. and his staff. Tell you what, man, I hope A.J. has some flexibility. I'm not sure he does right now. Not sure he does. Okay, I got to talk about this other guy. And, I'm a big believer that the glass is always half full rather than half empty or teetering on the edge of the table. But when it comes down to player evaluation, I got to be tough. I got to be tough. Now, there's this guy that everybody talks about, a guy named Luis Robert Jr. with the Chicago White Sox. Now, if you go back to 2023, this guy was one of the best players in baseball. He played in 145 games. That's a career high. Hit 264. Doesn't sound great, but his power numbers were off the chart. 36 doubles, a triple, 38 homers, 80 RBIs. And oh, by the way, he stole 20 out of 24 bases that year. He also struck out 172 times, but he had an OPS plus that I'm a big fan of 130. And that's Luis Robert Jr. His contract, I think he's making, I don't know, I think he's making 15 this year. And then he's got club option each of the next 2 years for 20 million. Right now, he's got an OPS plus of this year of 80. Now, average major league player OPS plus is 100. So he's 20% less than the average major league player this year. Okay, this year, and he's in and out of the lineup with injuries. Always got an injury. Plays center field. He's fragile. Kind of like Mike Trout, to be honest with you. And a couple of years ago, they kind of compared him to Mike Trout. Now he's going to turn 28 on August 3rd. But listen to these numbers. In 87 games this year, he struck out 98 times. He's hitting 206. Got a 295 on base percentage. He never walks. 11 homers, 43 RBIs, a 643 OPS, and again, an OPS plus of 80. And they're talking about maybe he'll go to the Padres. Well, two things. What are you going to give up to get Luis Robert Jr.? You're trying to catch lightning in a bottle here if you go after him. Now, this guy, there's no doubt this guy is one of the most talented athletes in baseball, but he hasn't done it other really than the 2023 season. You go back to last year, he hit 224, 19 doubles, 14 homers, 35 RBIs, played in 100 games. 278 on base percentage. He had 28 walks and 425 plate appearances. So if he's not hitting, he's not helping you. And he's got all kinds of injuries. Now, if the White Sox want to give him away for, maybe a couple of double-A arms or maybe an infielder that's a non-prospect for the Padres and a bullpen arm from the minor leagues, I would do that. But I'm also going to decline the club options each of the next 2 years. I'm going to let him walk as a free agent. I'm not picking up $20 million a year. I mean, I don't think ownership would do that. Now, if you dump Cronenworth and save $60 million over the next 5 years, then maybe AJ could talk ownership into saying, hey, you know what? This guy's got a lot of ability, which he does. And we know that AJ already fleeced the White Sox one time. That was under a different administration getting Tatis. Even though at that time, Eric Johnson, the pitcher that came over, was supposed to be the cat's meow. That didn't work out very well, but we got Fernando out of that deal for James Shields. So Luis Robert, he's what I call a scout killer. He can run, he can throw, he can hit with power. He's a good hitter when he's right. But at the end of the day, he'd be one of these guys. If you took him to a perfect game workout, this guy would be the best guy there. 10 out of 10. Every time he'd go, he'd be the best guy. But at the end of the day, he doesn't get it done. Hey, your best ability is your availability. Padres need somebody that's going to come in here and grind it out, and I'm not sure Luis Robert Jr. is a grinder. Now, you could also say he's been with the White Sox, and they're awful, they stink, they suck, which they do. Even though they're better this year, Will Venable's actually done a halfway decent job with that ball club. They're just so bare down in the minor leagues, they get no help. But we'll wait and see. Tell you another guy I kind of like, and they haven't talked about him. He's not having a great year. Left-hand hitter Cedric Mullins. I kind of like him. He can play all three outfield spots, primarily center, and he'll play left. You could throw him in right, but he runs a little bit, early 30s. I've always kind of liked him. Not having a good year with Baltimore. Baltimore's not having a good year. But anyways, that's my take on that. And boy, between now and 3 o'clock on Thursday, if you're a baseball fan, this is a fun time of year. There's no doubt about that. Okay, we got to get out to questions now. Let's get to these live questions and see what we got today. And I would imagine you fans got to be pretty fired up. 10 games over 500, taking down the Mets the first 2 games. They got Darvish going today against right-hander Clay Holmes. And I'm going to tell you right now, if Darvish doesn't get it done today, if he gets knocked out of the box, Padres got to make a decision. I think you put him on the IL, you let him keep working. Padres right now, I think, have enough. Now, if they trade Cease, that could be a problem. But it sounds like Michael King, who threw a simulated game on Monday, threw 40 pitches, is going to go out and throw in a rehab start from what we hear. And things we know change. But it sounds like on Saturday or Sunday, Mike's going to join El Paso and throw a few innings for El Paso. So he could be right around the corner. You never know. If you trade seats, maybe the Padres are going to get something in return. But Ryan Berger's been huge. Randy Vasquez has been huge. Kyle Hart, you're getting work out of him. Pitch him at home. Pitch him at home. His numbers are like amazing. His numbers at Petco Park are like the best in baseball. But on the road, he struggled. But you know what? He threw a couple of shutout innings coming out of the bullpen before he got shipped back to El Paso. But with you, Darvish, you got to get the job done. How many more times can you run him out there? Today's a big one. He's going against a quality right-hander, the former New York Yankee Clay Holmes. Holmes is good, man. He's 9-5 right now with a 3.40. Darvish 0-3 and 4 starts in a 9.18.